Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, or Tank12, how you wanna call me, I don't really care. Today we'll take a look at the brand new premium vehicle, the French Tier 8 tank destroyer Amx Cda 105. We will look at its armor, mobility, firepower, profitability, playstyle, and fun factor. To answer the question, if this tank is worth $46. Let's take a look at the armor. 100mm on the front, 40mm on the side, and 30mm on the rear. These numbers already sell out regarding the playstyle of the vehicle. Its traditional turretless design added with the low profile make this tank great for sniping and ambushing enemy vehicles. The effective armor of 107mm up to 200mm of armor in the front will allow us to bounce occasional shots from same and lower tier opponents, but will not reliably protect from most direct shots at tier 8. Especially the weak spots on the cupola and the lower plate will allow almost all opponents a reliable spot to penetrate the vehicle. The 1000 HP will not allow for a lot of leeway in direct engagements. Although the tank is not greatly armored, especially on the side and rear, it still is nowhere near a glass cannon like the Scorpion G. Mobility. The Amx Cda 105 is equipped with the SOFAM 1258 engine, which powers the tank with 728 horsepower. This allows the TD to go 55 km per hour forward and 18 km per hour backwards. But the max speed of 55 km will hardly be achieved most of the time, since the acceleration of this tank is fairly poor. Added with that is the rather unimpressive 31.59 second traverse speed, if compared with the likes as the Chinese Tier 8 premium tank destroyer, the WZ-121G FT, which has a 41.8 second traverse speed. Still, the vehicle manages to change position in a good time, allowing for more flexible ways of engaging enemy tanks. Firepower. The tank is equipped with a very competitive Tier 10 gun, the 105mm CN105, which boasts an average 390 damage per shot, with 260mm of standard penetration of the normal rounds. The rounds you will be firing are APCR, thus granting great long-range capacities. It is coupled with a rate of fire of 6.1 rounds per minute and a staggering 1.92 seconds aim time. This is where the Amx Cda 105 shines. Its very good dispersion rate of 0.28 at 100 meters allow precise shots from far distances. It also sports 8 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation. To finish this review off, we will take a closer look at how this tank plays in game and what kind of a vehicle it truly is. Now you can see we're playing against other Tier 8 opponents, but mostly Tier 6 and Tier 7s. We're top tier. We're playing on the map Pilsen right now, and somehow the minimap is not showing, but right there it is. So, first of all, the form factor of the tank. You know that it's not the best armored tank. It does have 100mm on the front. But at this tier, against those Tier 6 and 7 tanks you'll be going up against, you will see eventually afterwards how well this tank can hold its own against same tier opponents even and lower tier tanks. But because of its small form factor and because of this amazing gun that you have, the 105mm, it's a very similar gun. If we take a look at the barrel, it looks very similar to the gun that the Amx 30 and the 30B have. And it is not the same gun, but it has similar characteristics. 260mm of penetration. At this tier, obviously, you're going to be able to penetrate anything. Even at Tier 9, you're able to penetrate anything. Even at Tier 10, you have more pen than the T110E5, the standard AP rounds, that has 258mm of pen. So yeah, as you could see right there, not a lot was going on the one line, and right when I changed position, they actually lit up 3 tanks. That usually happens, but that's not that important. What I wanted in this match, since I knew I was going to be top tier, I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with this tank. If you're going to be playing against same tier opponents, and there are only 3 of them, you're going to be able to bash these tier 6 and 7 tanks. Obviously, this is just what tier 8 vehicles can do against those lower tier vehicles. And you can see the aim time, the accuracy on this vehicle, just incredible, as well as the reload time, 9.7 seconds. I think it's a rate of fire of about 6.1 rounds per minute, or a little bit more, definitely. This tank is just very, very flexible. One of the key features you will see in this replay now is the mobility. Right here you can see that the Amx 100 actually managed to penetrate us. That is a vehicle with 232 millimeters of penetration, but he also bounced off our vehicle because he shot the big chunk, which is the gun mantler right here. This area is a little bit better armored, especially right here, like you have up to 250 millimeters of armor. Thus, he wasn't able to penetrate us, but as soon as you turn your tank, you're going to be able to penetrate the cheek right here. So you're gonna lose that effective 250 millimeters of armor that you have. It's pretty much a little bit more buffed up E25, and I have to be honest, I enjoy this tank. I enjoy a E25 that has a bigger caliber gun, more penetration, and maybe loses a little bit of its mobility for those kind of attributes. But the E25 obviously is a very special tank since it has some of the best camo rating. This tank does have a very, very good camo rating as well. I think my camo rating from the points is at 700 or 800, and the max you can get is I think about 1,000. On my E25 I have a camo rating of 925 or something like that, so it's pretty crazy. Right here you can see the mobility of this tank, and even the accuracy if you're moving a little bit. It's not too bad. The gun arc is not spectacular, but what's very special about this is the gun depression that you have, with 8 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation. So that's always nice to have. You're a little bit more flexible if you have a little ridge line or a little hill, but most of the time you'll be fighting on even terrain with this tank because it's just too small. It's not high enough. The profile is not big enough to allow you to shoot those tanks reliably over the ridge line. So right now you can see another thing. If you get those the speed up, you can actually reach the 55 kilometers per hour, and you can just see this tank gets around the map fairly easy, fairly fast. We've been on 4 different points in just about 2 or 3 minutes, and now we're gonna go and defend the base. And this is where you're gonna see how the armor is gonna hold up against lower tier opponents and same tier tanks. So this is a very nice position with the 8 degrees of gun depression, the low profile. It's very difficult to hit the tank. RNG is not allowing us anything right here, but we managed to hit nothing. But they managed to hit us twice. They bounce off us. They don't have, well, the best amount of penetration, and with the 100 millimeters of front armor, that is effective up to, I think, 180. You can see that they're gonna have some difficult times. But right now, this is one of the main problems that you're gonna be facing with this tank. If you're getting too close, well, you do not have the best track traverse, and the 40 millimeters of side armor are obviously not gonna be holding up against anything. And that is just one of the things that you have to keep in mind. That is why playing this as a sniper tank is the best option, because obviously if you are sniping in this tank, the least amount of damage will be conflicted upon you. The problem is just once you get spotted, you only have 1,000 HP. 1,000 HP is not a lot of leeway, especially if you're going up against tier 8 tanks or tier 9 vehicles, where one shot is usually half of the HP gone. So you're gonna be on the lower end of the spectrum with your HP pool. But that doesn't mean that you can bargain with that HP pool. In this match, we were able to use that to our advantage, but we didn't really need it as much. So, how does it earn credits? Is it a good credit maker? This is where I have to disappoint a lot of people probably. This tank, one round costs you about 1,000 credits for the APCR standard rounds. So it's not going to be one of those vehicles that earn a lot of credits. Its main potential is not as great as other vehicles, for example, the Scorpion G, I think, or, premium medium tanks, which don't have to spend a lot of money on ammunition. But at the same time, for me, it is a lot of fun to play because I enjoy the E25 and it's very similar to the E25. But I could see why people do not enjoy such kind of gameplay. It's a very traditional tank destroyer without a turret, and it's supposed to be played as a hidden vehicle with a little bit of armor, so it's not as bad as the Scorpion G, but it does not have this additional flexibility with the turret as the Scorpion G has. Scorpion G is very fast with 65 kilometers per hour, but it takes a while to get up to these speeds. With this tank too, but it's not as bad. You'll reach the 55 kilometers per hour if you are running on even terrain. I think most of the time, I have to be honest, it's not too bad. And yeah, it definitely fits to the players who enjoy playing tank destroyers, who enjoy playing French tank destroyers actually, because it does have these characteristics of the older French tank destroyers where they didn't have the auto-loading gun, the Amx 50 Foch before the patch that was released last month, the 920. And yeah, it's definitely a tank that you should maybe check out before you buy, but the problem is just it's very difficult to be able to check out a premium tank. It's impossible almost. So yeah, final verdict. I enjoy the tank. Its characteristics are fairly good. The gun is the most amazing part. It allows you just to be so reliably to penetrate other vehicles. Mobility wise, it's very, very flexible as well. Track traverse might be a little bit of an issue, but it's not OP. It's a nice little tank destroyer tank for the usual the tank destroyer who likes to be hidden, and I think that's just fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of review that I just revamped completely this time. And if you did, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.